35192. Want to send me a text? When's in from Mary today? Mary will rejoin us on Thursday for the last live show of 2022. We'll have the final Perez Bilton today.
Oh, yeah. Holiday edition.
Holiday edition, little celebrity hot goss from Perez Bilton. We'll talk to our friend Steve Byrne, who just dropped his latest hour on Amazon Prime. It's called The Last Late Show. Last Late Night. We'll chat with him a little bit later on. I have some new sweet nothings from Jenna.
Who?
Jenna from Poland, who is a legally blind listener who calls and leaves voicemails constantly. When I come in on Monday morning, over the course of the weekend, there are 58 voicemails from her.
Shut up.
And so occasionally, I'll play some of my favorite moments back from her. And she's called live too. And when I talk to her, she's perfectly normal.
Give Gwen a little taste.
Yeah, she's pretty wild. I'm happy to have her. Cavaliers lose by 1 point last night in San Antonio to the Spurs, who are not having a great season. But any given Monday, it can come out like this. 112 to 111 is the final. Spurs v. Cavs. Cavs will stay in Texas. They'll play the Mavs tomorrow night at 9 o'clock.
Anytime you're playing a Greg Popovich team, there's a chance you could lose. Plus, the Spurs are on I think that's 3 in a row for them, so they're starting to put it together. And they're also the guardians of the NBA, where their average age is like 22 or 23 years old.
Okay.
So it's a very young team, and they're starting to figure it out already.
So in the years to come, they'll be a force to be reckoned with.
I think they will, because, that's just how Greg Popovich is.
All right.
He's a good coach.
Yeah. And you get an occasional lecture on race inequality from him. So Cavs, Mavs tomorrow night, 9 o'clock on WMMS. So 8:30 is when your pregame coverage will begin here on The Buzzard and on the iHeartRadio app.
He's slowly becoming Donald Sutherland.
Greg Popovich.
Which one?
He's just getting like the older, like his hair's just getting longer, and he's getting a beard, and he's just slowly like turning into that phase of Donald Sutherland's career.
It's not a bad phase.
No.
The Hunger Games phase of Donald Sutherland's career.
Not Backdraft.
Was he in that? Backdraft? I remember him from like Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
I think he was in Backdraft.
He was in Animal House with the short curly hair and the mustache, the perm.
That was the Billy Baldwin vehicle, right?
Yes, Billy Baldwin and Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Wait, he wasn't?
He might have been, but I don't. De Niro was in it. I don't remember Donald Sutherland.
De Niro was in Backdraft?
I thought he was the arson.
Are you joking?
No, he was definitely he was in it. Donald Sutherland.
It had a big cast, but De Niro and Kurt Russell.
De Niro was in it.
I think he had a
William
cameo as like a
Bollian,
fire chief or something.
Okay.
Kurt Russell, Donald Sutherland, Robert De Niro, Jennifer Jason Leigh, and Scott Glenn.
Yeah, Scott Glenn, great actor.
Okay.
Who I think passed away.
I just haven't seen that movie since probably the year it came out.
Okay.
91.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Scott Glenn is still alive. I don't want to prematurely. He was the cut old guy on The Leftovers. Is Justin Theroux's dad on The Leftovers?
Yeah.
Yeah, Scott Glenn's a good actor.
I was too busy staring at Justin Theroux.
Yeah, I was too.
Jog.
I got to say, man. You can leave us messages, by the way, on the iHeartRadio app if you'd like to do that there.
Yes, podcast listener, number 8 on the blacklist. I did not get why Alan kept laughing during that organ meat inside joke about it being awful. And he cracked himself up. Then I'm watching Pennyworth on HBO Max, and now I get it. Awful, I get it. Because it's an organ meat synonym.
That's a word.
Bear with it.
Nerd alert!
It's a visual joke, but
I had to do the research on that one too, because I had never heard that before.
It was unfair of me to whip it out to people, but it made me laugh. That's all this whole thing is supposed to be about, is whatever makes me laugh, and so it made me laugh.
You whipped out organ meat?
I said, I threw this joke at you, and you crinkled your nose and shook your head, and I go, okay. It's a visual joke. The reason I don't like organ meat is because they taste awful. OFFAL is a word for organ meats. Nevertheless, that guy's watching a show about Batman's butler. We were just talking about this the other day. Everybody's complaining that like the Warner Brothers Discovery HBO Max merger is going to kill all these shows. Yeah, maybe kill the one about Batman's butler. You run out of other characters? Anyway, watch whatever you want to watch.
damn it, just when I give you props, your pasty, pale, translucent, rhythmless, although nice hair having ass goes on to say, nobody knows what Patti LaBelle is singing with this Christmas. Probably one of the blackest Christmas songs ever. Listen up, colonizer. Just because you don't know it doesn't mean everybody else doesn't know it. Hate the show.
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
Yeah, that's right. By the way, I didn't say that people didn't know what it was. I said that crowd didn't know what it was. It was a sea of white people. You think they knew what that song was? This Christmas by Patti LaBelle? No, they did not.
But she didn't know the words, so don't
She
get
didn't
mad
know
at us.
And by the way, don't ever come for me. Do you know who did the song originally, sir? I think I know who that was, by the way. Number 8 on the blacklist. Thank you for listening.
Complimented your hair, though.
Well, of course. Look at it. It's unbelievable.
Oh, God, I shouldn't have started.
Nevertheless, who did it originally, smart guy? Who was the first guy? Who wrote and performed This Christmas?
George Michael.
Donny Hathaway from Chicago, Illinois. Thank you very much. Don't ever come for me. Ever.
Oh, yeah, everybody knows that.
That
Donny
crowd did not know that song. And yeah, Patti LaBelle didn't know the words. Now, what would be great is if they have her do it again, but unbeknownst to her, they swap out the cue cards, the lyrics, for one of her pumpkin pie recipes. Just, she starts singing 2 cups of sugar or whatever it is. Because she's selling those sweet potato pies.
I wonder, did they ever get that resolved as to why she didn't have any background singers? Where were they?
They trot them out there like part of the way through, but it's only 3 instead of like the bleachers full of. I think she's supposed to have like a choir behind her, but they did not do a great job with that tree lighting ceremony.
And what city was this?
This was the National
DC.
Tree Lighting Ceremony.
I didn't know it was.
This was like you see President Clinton in the video. Like he walks out after her. Like this is the highest level, and they messed it up so bad.
Yeah.
Where are my background singers?
I don't know. Things usually are pretty smooth in D.C.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do? I mean, that happened, and now I've got some Weiner news for you.
Weiner news!
I mentioned before that I was talking to Dr. Ryan Berglund, who's our friend from the Cleveland Clinic. He's come on every so often. He does a segment called Is It Red? And he answers questions from the audience. He's a surgical urologist at the Cleveland Clinic. He recently, his credits include going to Harvard, studying at Columbia, and doing Alan Cox's vasectomy. But I was texting him to make sure that he's engaging in self-care and to just take it easy and keep a steady hand, because they released a list of the 10 most stressful jobs in America, and number 1 was urologist.
Stay-at-home mom.
No, babe, you're thinking of the hardest job in the world.
That's ever existed.
The hardest job in the world.
I remember all the coats.
Alan Cox Show! Exclusive news update!
The hardest job in the world. Let's hear it for the moms, shall we?
You know, wife is pretty hard, too.
Wife
it's hard being a wife sometimes.
Well, being Alan Cox's wife.
Depends on
isn't
your
it?
husband.
Well, I only got one right now.
Yeah,
so.
well, that's the hard part. Anyway, urologist tops the most stressful jobs in America.
Why?
Because you're always looking at somebody's dong and you don't want to do like the wrong thing or mess it up or...
It's not just about dongs.
But if you're talking to a guy, I mean, that's your whole life right there. Granted, it's not just about guys, but again, it's your whole
It's not
life.
just about dongs either.
It is for us.
Everything is about dongs for you.
Yeah. So they do, they do how much they make, how stressful they are. Like number 2, and this seems to be a big dip here. Urologists are number 1, most stressful. Number 2, film and video editors.
Huh.
And then it goes into like other doctors. So if you're a film and video editor and you're regaling your friends with tales of how difficult and stressful your job is, now you've got a list that corroborates that. Before it was just you whining. But now you've got a list that corroborates.
You technically have one of the most stressful jobs in America.
Judges and magistrates. Yeah, I bet that's a stressful job now.
Have you ever
When you're worried about-
magistrated?
Yeah! When
I actually told him I was told by a judge that I'm not allowed to magistrate anymore. You can't keep magistrating in public, bud.
Oh, in public.
In public.
What is stressful because you think of retaliation?
Yes, you're worried somebody's some guy you forgot that you sent to jail for 3 months is waiting in your backyard to kill you.
Or your family members.
Or that.
That's like what they do in Mexico. That's how they got El Chapo's. Isn't that how they got El Chapo's son out of prison?
I thought they got his wife or something to, didn't?
That may have been another time. I think he's been locked up a couple times, but this time.
Oh, no, they broke him out a couple of times, but wasn't the time that they got him this last time? Wasn't that because, like, Sean Penn was distracting El Chapo's wife, or he went over there with Rolling Stone to interview him? And
Sean Penn went and interviewed him, but I don't know if that's when they caught him.
I thought it was.
The last time they caught him, they had him, and he was, like, in prison for good. And I guess his boys rolled up and did, like, opposition research on all the police officers and all the, like, COs. And they're like, we'll kill, your daughter, your family, all your family members if you don't let them out. And they let them out. So I was like, what do you do in the aspect? When they got more resources than you're outnumbered.
Yes.
Everyone loves their family. And, like, what are you guarding? What are you going to work for if your family's dead? So
I'm constantly fascinated by the tunnels that are dug to get these guys out. Because it's not like, a guy's got a file and a spoon. These tunnels where they get these cartel guys out, they have, like, Wi-Fi in them. They have, like, lights, and they have a coal cart in there. It's 5 miles long.
That's Mexican ingenuity right there.
Mexican ingenuity.
Have you never seen Shawshank?
That's what... Yeah, but he
ain't got
didn't...
Wi-Fi.
He crawled
Wi-Fi
through...
wasn't even around.
He crawled through the poop pipe, right?
Yeah.
Right, but he didn't have other people digging a tunnel for him with electricity and, like there's a Starbucks in El Chapo's tunnel.
Movie.
I think it was like season 3 of Weeds where they had a similar thing, and I think it was based on a lot of the ones that they actually found in Mexico going to San Diego.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Also in Weiner news, before I move on, if you were somebody who voted for the execrable J.D. Vance here in Ohio, because we are the Florida of the North, he wants your porn. And he wants it to be illegal. So maybe you love porn. Maybe you're one of these people that thinks that, like, the family is the be-all, end-all, like J.D. Vance. And, boy, he just doesn't think porn is good for anybody, and he wants it to be nationally illegal. Now, I think the chances of that happening are probably 0.0004%.
Also, if he's been watching porn lately, he knows that family's very important in porn, too.
So important.
Blended families.
But how do you outlaw that? You just block sites?
You don't. This is the kind of... These dudes who want to outlaw porn are always the guys who watch a lot of porn. And they're like, well, I can't handle myself.
That's like Kanye right now, where he's like, pornography ruined my family. He's like, no, you ruined your family because you can't handle pornography.
It's actually kind of...
And why blame pornography?
Because he doesn't take responsibility.
No, but there's so many other things you could point to in his life. Right. Why does porn have to be the redhead
stepchild? His wife was a porn star. I mean, made a porno.
She wasn't a porn star.
She made a porno, and that's what he means.
Most people
that's not what he means.
That's not what he means.
That is what he means.
No, it's not what he means.
He said it ruined my family.
No, he knew about that when he going in.
Yeah, but he didn't have kids then.
He is addicted to pornography to the point where he watches it like constantly.
That's not what he means.
He
said it in multiple interviews that he said pornography ruined my family. My wife is shared on all the porn sites in the world.
Yes, but to Bill's point, he already knew that when he got with her.
Okay, but
So how did he go into then? Of course he would. Come on.
That does something to a man, I suppose.
Right, but he dated and then subsequently married and inseminated multiple times a woman who had been in a sex tape.
I don't know what...
Paris Hilton's husband isn't out there complaining that porn ruined his family.
Well, they're still freshly married, and she's gone through several fiancés before she got to
Nevertheless, I don't remember any of them complaining about her sex tape.
But Kanye West, I have addiction to porn. It destroyed my family. That's what he's saying.
I'm wondering, didn't he get accused of showing naked pictures of Kim to Adidas? How?
Yes,
so
at the Nike headquarters or something. Of course he is.
I will say it is kind of genius if they want to outlaw porn.
You mean genius?
No, I'm not. This isn't in a reference to Kanye West. I'm just saying Republicans who want to outlaw porn is actually kind of genius because I know there have been some times, especially in my celibate phases, where I'm like, I don't want to talk to no men. I don't want to be around no men. porn got me through. I probably would have threw myself off of a roof.
How is
out
it
a window.
genius if you're a Republican?
Because they're going to be like, if I can't watch porn, I'm going to go nuts. I need some antidepressants because
What? This is the party of forced birth.
Let him finish.
They don't care about kids. They need workers. No. That's why they want people born. They need low-wage workers.
But what I'm saying is Big Pharma makes more money. If they invest in Big Pharma, then they will make more money because all these people that will be depressed or need some type of medication to get through that are addicted to porn, they have to put an outlet somewhere.
But they have access to medication and porn now.
If they outlaw it,
they're going to get more medication. But they already get medication.
He's saying that people are going to get more medicated if they can't.
Yes, they have to get their fix. Either they're going to do something they're not supposed to do and go to prison, which a lot of Republicans have shares in these privately owned prisons, or
a lot of Democrats do too.
Well, anyone who's wealthy can take a share in this, and anyone who's wealthy can take a share in Big Pharma. Name a medication, and if someone is
Paxil.
weak, if someone is weak,
Zoloft.
Wait, if someone's weak, what?
They're going to rely on those.
So only weak people take medication?
Oh,
what?
boy. He just stepped in it, didn't he? Here comes the hate mail for Poundcake.
I was on one.
I'm the only guy who's never been on anything, and I wouldn't go into that direction.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
So Mary, who is on a medication, you're calling her weak for being on it?
No, not everyone who takes
No, Bill,
medication.
she's weak for being sober. Anyway, what?
Alan, she's weak for being a woman.
What? I cannot. I can't abide by that.
I would argue with you, but I'm too weak for my medication.
Well, I think the notion that if porn wasn't around, people will double their medication.
Here's what debunks that. The place where people are on the most meds and the most porn is consumed is the state of Utah.
There you go.
Everybody's on meds and everybody's watching porn.
Is that what we're just calling the human experience now? The state of Utah?
Yes.
That's what I don't understand. What does an outlawing porn do? Do you block URLs, or if you're like reported watching porn, then they come to your house and arrest you?
I think that what they envision is like how companies will block porn sites from their servers. I think these people have this.
They'll do it China style.
Notion, yes. I mean, again.
I'm sure there's already some sort state-by-state law about paying for sex, right? So, I'm not positive about regulation on the internet.
Like prostitution being legal and things.
So I'm sure it's just along the lines of that.
You know what a great palate cleanser is going to be? Another Sweet Nothings from Jenna. You want one of those?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's time for Sweet Nothings with Jenna from Poland.
Honestly, I'll be honest here, I think it's really out of jealousy that I'm just kind of jealous.
This has been Sweet Nothings with Jenna from Poland.
Tell you what.
Is she really in Poland?
She knows it. Poland, Ohio.
Oh.
She knows what she's talking about.
I thought you meant the motherland.
From Barcelona, Ohio. Ibiza.
Barcelona.
Ohio.
She's the jealousy's making her jealous?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Now maybe she needs some medication.
She sounds sweet.
Yeah, she is.
She's the best.
Lovely. I got to take a break here. If you want to text 35192 to get me there, AlanCoxShow.com. I want to watch live. And wherever you are, you can listen on the iHeartRadio app.